This is Christine Brown, and while I have to listen to this podcast as my motherly duty, you have the choice not to. My sons, and of course Michael, sometimes say some naughty things when they're trying to be funny, but really, they're just being stupid. You still want to listen? Go right ahead. I am not your mother.
All right, welcome back to the Patriots Dynasty podcast. This is a bit of a departure from what we've been doing normally. It's the bye week in 2001 for the Patriots, so we thought we would do our own little bye week episode. So we still have everybody with us today. Gentlemen, how are you holding up with everything going on right now in the world?
I'm sitting pretty. I'm loving it. Yeah.
Well, you're sounding pretty.
I wish we could quarantine all the time.
Yeah, so who knows when this is coming out? Probably May or
Still
June.
in quarantine.
Yeah, so we're probably still in quarantine.
Should we predict when the quarantine will end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well if this is in the future.
Date today is March 20th.
Yeah, so this is as you can probably hear in our voices, still the beginning. This is the first week of quarantine for most of us, I think. We still have hope left. So, Steve, what is your prediction for when this will end?
I'm going to say May 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Seems like you put some thought into that. I was just going to pick a number at random, but all right. So
Yeah,
May
I
12th.
I just picked the number at random.
Oh, okay.
Like longer than I think, but before my birthday.
All right.
So you think we're going back to work on a Wednesday, Steve? Fucking idiot.
All right, Greg, your turn then.
I'm saying July 6th. So after the 4th, we're all coming
Wow.
back.
You think so?
Yep.
That's a long time.
Sure is, dude.
All right.
We got to flatten the curve.
That's true. That's what
That's fair, yeah.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
I've been reading a lot of internet.
Mike, what do you think?
Well, it depends, because they have this vaccine now, I think, for malaria that's supposedly doing some things, but I hear on the low that there's some side effects. So if they started injecting people with this stuff and then like 2 weeks later other stuff is happening, that will definitely sway things. So I'm guessing 9 weeks from now, whatever that is.
All right.
What are the side effects, Mike? Do you know?
I think it's increased heart rate and having, like, if you have some type of heart condition or something, it's pretty much not good.
And if you have an erection for more than 4 hours, you should probably call a doctor.
They have said that, but I don't know if it's common knowledge.
Oh, that's a different drug.
It might be the same. I don't know what
That's the one I hear
are.
about all the time, so I wasn't sure.
Is that fight off the corona, maybe? I bet you they haven't even tried.
It fights off a lot of things.
All right. Well, somebody should tell Trump to give it a shot.
Oh, he's tried it.
It might be a good time to try boner pills. You're stuck at home.
A lot of babies.
Yeah, or just yank it off if you're single. I don't know.
Yeah.
You think that this is going to be another like boom, like a baby boom? 2 to 3 months of lockdown?
Well, here's the other side is if you're stuck with your significant other for all day, could get sick of them.
That's
Might
true.
have the opposite effect.
Ooh.
Spike in
Divorces.
divorces. And,
No kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Man, what's going to happen to our society?
All right. Who else has got some dates?
I think we're not going to have this lifted until November 2020.
What? Oh boy.
Monday, November 2nd.
Dude, this
2020.
Damn.
And I'm only saying that because I'm still bitter about the Tom Brady news. And if that happens, if it's November, then I think the football season will have been canceled. So,
what are the odds that we finish this podcast, the whole dynasty, before the quarantine's over?
83%.
1,000 to 1 odds.
the whole thing, every season.
Yep.
Oh,
Well, we just discussed there's no end to the Patriots dynasty yet, so who knows?
And if there is no football,
well, I think we've discussed
right.
that. Wait, did we decide it isn't? It hasn't ended, or it has?
It
I
has
think it was
not.
a split decision.
It has
Yeah.
not.
I don't know. But if football doesn't come back,
Being recorded because
Then
if
we'll never know.
Stidham wins the Super Bowl, we can go back here and you'll have egg on your face, brother.
this is true. When this gets released in November 2020,
Hey, it's in the archives, man.
so there are 361 games so far in this. Since I imagine at some point, if we get desperate, we'll go back to the 2000 season. So 361 games. So we could record an episode every day and be here this time next year, still releasing episodes.
Yeah,
the
it's
odds
tough
are
talking to
slim.
you guys. That's a no from me.
Yeah, me too.
I'll
Oh,
think
man.
about it.
Well, I'll be here because fuck you guys.
I
All
wonder
right.
what it would sound like with you doing everything.
Just me?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be great. I don't
It
think.
could be. I mean, you have a lovely voice. I've often
Hey.
said that.
ASMR.
It would probably turn into that. Yeah.
You got a real face for radio, Andy.
Oh,
Steve.
boy.
It's a good job we're related.
Well, he has a different face, Andy, but I see where you're getting at.
It's not a better face.
I didn't say it was. I'm just saying.
I know. I'm just letting everybody else that hasn't met us know it's not a better face.
No
I think we've already decided
Yeah.
weeks ago that the only person that doesn't have a face for radio was Mike and his beautiful haircut.
Whoa,
Oh,
I'm the-
right.
I'm the pretty one of the family.
Pretty ugly.
Dude, Mike told me I look like Tom Brady
It's true.
on
I did.
air. That's on record.
Guilty.
Yeah, but I think he was on PCP though, so
I don't know about that.
Those
I
LA
believe that
drugs.
may have been scratched from the record, Andy. We'll have to talk about that.
it may have, which means this may have to be as well.
I didn't know you
Well
like to
said.
get wet.
I don't know what that means. So, next topic.
All right. So because this is the bye week, I kind of wanted to do a little bit of, what the Patriots would do. Want to look internally just briefly, kind of do some self-scouting as it were. So a couple things I just want to bring to your attention for our analytics, which may only be exciting to us, but in all transparency, we have officially gone over 100 listens for an episode. It happened this week. So
A single episode?
one episode has 106. The first episode has 106 listens.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of them's
It-
not
it-
even me.
It drops off every time. So from there on.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the best topic to go on air with, but you do you, man.
Well, if they
That's
made
fine.
it this far, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And so, so congratulations for that. We've hit 100. And I've also been kind of generally keeping track of when we say stupid shit we don't know the answer. So I went back and tried to look some of that shit up. I know it's not complete because I only did it sometimes when I felt it was super egregious, but some of the things that we have said, I have in here. I think we already debunked this, but Aaron Glenn is not in the Hall of Fame.
Allegedly. We don't know.
Aaron Glenn?
Aaron
Terry
is
Glenn.
not- Terry
Terry
also
Glenn is
not
definitely in the
Hall
Hall of Fame.
of Fame. Terry Glenn
Greg,
also.
can you check on that?
Yeah,
Stat check.
yeah.
stat
Look
check
it up.
he's
He's
alright.
not.
Oh, okay. It was worth a shot.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah.
I believe we were also going back and forth on whether or not Terry Glenn got a Super Bowl ring. He did not.
What?
Oh,
He
Didn't
did
give
it.
him one.
He did not.
confirmed, huh?
Yeah, confirmed.
Oh
you
my
fi-
goodness.
How'd you figure that out?
Somebody told it to me, so I looked it up. And yeah, he did not get. I don't know where I found it, but he did not get one.
The fabric of the world just fell apart right now.
We
Well.
talked about Curtis Martin and
I had
his-
Andy get super garbled there.
Andy, take it back.
Am I
You
back
just
now?
like went underwater,
Yeah.
and disappeared.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
I said, how
no.
do you know?
My internet just. Oh, really? Because I've been talking for
Yeah.
ages.
Kelly, we're live.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
This is what I'm talking about. We're not going to make it. Kelly just walked in on a fucking happy hour live chat.
Greg Brown's buck ass naked. What is it? Butthole naked? Wasn't that it? Something wide
What is that
open?
from?
That's from.
Incognito.
No, it was.
It was Gronk.
Oh, so it wasn't Gronk. It was what's his name? The wide receiver from the Ravens.
Oh yeah, Smith.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying somebody was butthole wide open or something. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah,
Butthole
he's the
naked.
best.
Yeah. You can tell I've been editing the Christmas one for too long because it's all in there. Let's see what else we talked. Oh, we talked about Curtis Martin and his poison pill in his contract, and we did a horrendous job explaining it. So I looked it up a bit more. Basically, the poison pill was a clause in the contract that stated that Curtis Martin would become an unrestricted free agent after 1 year if the Patriots matched the offer. And the Patriots would have been forced to pay like a $3 million roster bonus, which they wouldn't have been able to fit under the cap. So that was why they couldn't bring him back. That seems a bit more clear that time.
And now, is that what you were going to say last time before you went underwater?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And also, just a side note on that while I was looking that up, the Jets general manager, Mike Tannenbaum, is regarded in many circles as the guy who fathered the idea of the poison pill. So, of course, it was a Jets invention.
I mean, it's a smart move.
It is.
That's a Belichick move too, you know?
Yeah.
You're showing your bias again, Andy.
Maybe.
If Belichick
I
did
know.
that, you'd be like, it's genius.
Of course. And, I mean, he exploits everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that definitely sounds like him. What are you talking
They'd
about?
be like, oh, the rules are the rules.
Wait, Andy, can you just admit that Belichick has cheated before? Can you say that?
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah. All right.
All right. Now we're on the same page. So
He's bent the rules.
He's growing. Okay. Whoa, okay. Say
Push
how-
the envelope.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, we're all on the same page. You're growing.
All right. In week 4, I think it was just me and Mike talking about sacks versus Tom Brady and the leaders in that. And we talked about how
What an episode that was, might I add.
yeah, I think that was the Dolphins one, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
That was the game that we talked about how we would never watch that game again.
Oh, something just happened.
Yeah.
Is everyone okay?
I think Steve now has
Yes.
coronavirus.
Oh boy.
So yeah, so we fucked up some of the numbers in that too. I'm not gonna bother correcting it.
Steve,
But-
chill out.
Right? What the fuck are you doing, Steve?
God
What do
damn
you-
it, Steve.
You making
Not
a
even
fucking
there.
pizza back there?
I'm
He's
getting
like-
another beer.
Cool. You want to make a little bit more noise while you do it?
Yeah, you could hear that. I was all in my kitchen.
Yeah,
Yep.
we could hear that.
Andy thought you came down with something.
Pretty sure you have coronavirus now.
Had it, already beat it.
There it is.
Oh boy.
But Mike, in that episode, we were talking about the number of people who lost their jobs due to the Patriots, if you recall.
Oh yeah.
And I came up with a real rough back of the envelope number. Did a little bit of research, and I came up with, in terms of coaches and quarterbacks in the AFC East, about 58 of them have lost their job due to the ongoing Patriots dynasty.
It's amazing.
That's a lot.
You think that Belichick feels bad about that?
No comment.
Okay.
Hey, I have a quote from Terry Glenn about the ring. Did you see this?
No, let's hear it.
This is in 2019. He said, if they offer me one, I'll certainly accept it and keep it in my archives. It would be nice. It would be nice to get one.
Yeah.
Wait, he said that in 2019?
That's when the article was written.
Oh, okay.
No, never mind. 2002.
Yeah, I think I read that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, we're not gonna ruin that surprise, but yeah. We'll
Wait,
talk
so
about Terry
how
Glenn
come-
in a bit.
Dude, that's a bullshit. So Putin gets a Super Bowl ring and Terry Glenn doesn't?
Is that confirmed? Putin has one?
I thought so.
I believe Putin kind of took it.
Right.
Wasn't that the story.
I think
Classic.
Yeah, shocking,
so.
right?
I think it was an accident, Andy. I think it's miscommunication, the language barrier.
Perhaps. I'm guessing it probably wasn't. It was just blamed on that.
Do you think that Terry Glenn should have gotten one? I mean, we can, I guess, further assess after you go down your deep dive.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. The last thing that I had was when we had Connor on and we were talking all about kickers. He wanted to know kicker accuracy by distance, and basically Gostkowski is the more accurate kicker.
Ouch.
That's what I said.
And then in the playoffs, they didn't have it broken down by distance, but Vinatieri was a less accurate kicker in the playoffs too, surprisingly.
Really? That's surprising.
Oh, shoot.
He made just over 76% of his field goals.
Really?
And Gostkowski's made 88%. Vinatieri didn't miss an extra point, but they were also from the 2-yard line.
He never missed one?
Nope.
Wow.
Not in the playoffs.
Oh, gotcha.
He was 367 of 374 in the regular season, 98.1%, which is still just very slightly lower than Gostkowski's 98.3%. So, Gostkowski, more accurate kicker, just in general.
In your face, Connor.
Indeed. So, that's all I had. I just wanted to clear those things, get some transparency here. We're not perfect, but we're working towards being so.
No, we're not.
And if any, no, we're definitely not. If any of our listeners have anything else they want to talk about, Greg's email address is gdbrown something or other at Gmail.
You're gonna throw my email? Yeah.
Yeah. If you have an issue with the podcast, email Greg.
Now, keep in mind that at our rate, by the time you send us a question, it might take us 3 months to answer it on air, but hey, it'll be answered.
Yeah. Or you can hit up Mike Mello on Twitter at, I don't know, leave me alone.
Yeah, that's what it is.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Just the old Twitter. I write some doozies on that one.
Ooh, can I sneak peek my incognito Jonathan Martin?
Oh, boy.
I have relevant text from that.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
Jonathan Martin says, "What's your address?" To which Incognito responds, 1, 2, 3, 4, go fuck yourself, place.
He went with place.
Yeah, that's classic.
How distinguished.
1, 2, 3, 4 is the best part.
So the second part of this was going to be, we're going to do some deep dives, because I think that's kind of also what the Patriots would do. They would take a deeper look into their own stuff. So this is one that I had set up. We have talked a lot about Terry Glenn, but we haven't really gotten into Terry Glenn, the person, the man, the myth, the legend. So I thought we would do a bit of a deep dive on him next. So Tyree Glenn, which I feel like is foreshadowing. His middle name
Is that his
Tyree.
middle name? His middle name is Tyree and his first name's Terry?
Yes.
Okay, just clarifying.
Yes. Tyree Glenn.
That's tough.
Born July 23rd, 1974 in Columbus, Ohio. That will come back to be important later. We talk a lot about, I think, football players coming from rough upbringings. I think we talked about David Patton and Troy Brown, like being super poor and having to like work the fields and stuff to make ends meet for their family, things like that.
Wait, what? I thought he was like shipping coffee.
He's loading. No, he's loading coffee on the trucks by the bagful.
Yeah, he's not working the fields. What are you talking about?
Troy Brown was.
Coffee
no, he
fields.
wasn't.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah. All
Bro.
right. Cool.
Greg,
Have you ever farmed coffee?
No.
It's not as glamorous as you would think.
He was unloading trucks, man. What are we talking about?
Troy Brown?
I don't know. The other guy, David Patton.
David Patton, yeah. He was loading coffee on the truck.
Wait, Greg, while this guy's
Big
yapping
bags of
away about
coffee.
nonsense, can you look that
Yeah.
up, please?
What do you want me to look up? Whether
Just
he-
Troy
What?
Brown before football job.
All right.
Thank you.
I mean,
I don't believe
read
you,
the
Andy.
Troy Brown biography, but sure. The whole chapter.
Did he write it?
It sounded like he wrote it, yeah.
Way to
But he
derail
looked
it, Mike.
How come I've never heard of this?
Because you haven't read the book.
Yeah, I guess you're not a real Troy Brown fan. I guess you're not a real fan of the Browns.
I'm not.
How about that?
And I never admitted to that.
This is true. In fact, he's admitted multiple times he's not a fan of these Browns.
I do love Troy Brown, though.
All right. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'll get you a copy of the book.
Okay.
I'm giving up on the stat check because apparently there's a
Fuck,
Troy Brown in the
man.
NBA too.
All right.
Yeah, it's really
Fine, I'll take
muddling.
your word for it. Just seems like a little bit made up on your end.
All right,
but
next bye week we'll do a deep dive on Troy Brown.
on people's jobs before they
We'll get
made it.
into Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Do you know that Kurt Warner was a bag boy?
yeah. Did you know that Fitzpatrick went to Harvard?
I didn't.
Wait, did he really? Didn't Antonio Gates play basketball?
Really?
I think so. I heard something.
Breaking news.
So anyway, back to Terry Glenn. This deep dive has gotten really deep so far. We know his middle name and when he was born. But his
Oh.
his mom was on welfare as far back as you can remember, apparently, and his father left when he was 2.
Dude, we're laughing here, and you just come with that right after? Jesus.
Oh no, it gets a little worse before it doesn't really get better. You'll see what you guys can do with this. So he never knew his father, and when Terry was 13 years old, his mother was beaten to death by a man she had recently met.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah, so here it is. She'd been killed on October 8th, 1987, beaten to death by a casual acquaintance who had been stalking her. Terry didn't need a judge or jury to tell him who was responsible. He knew. That damn fat man. Kenneth Adams, now 33, was sentenced to 10 to 25 years after pleading guilty to involuntary manslaughter.
So he didn't mean to.
Terry Glenn says he liked her and she didn't like him. I guess that's why he did it, according to the article I found on people.com. So, yeah, Glenn was 13 years old. He had a younger sister, too, because it was like a stepsister, I think, because he considered suicide, but then thought that there would be nobody to take care of his sister, so he didn't. So his sister went to live with her biological dad. Terry Glenn bounced around between aunts and uncles and stuff for a few years before finally one of his friend's parents took him in. And they were like, friends and play football together and stuff like that. And basically was raised by these people, and he says that football saved his life because otherwise, like, a lot of his friends are dead and stuff like that. So, like, dude had a rough upbringing. I think he was obviously good at football. I think that's pretty apparent by the rest of his career, but he actually walked on at Ohio State, the Ohio State University. I think he got some other scholarships to play at like smaller places, but decided he was just going to walk on there. And at the time, there was a guy who would go on to play for the Oilers, who then turned to Titans, Chris Sanders. Another name you might recognize, Joey Galloway, were the starting wide receivers at Ohio State that he decided to just walk on at.
Former Patriot.
Right, Joey Galloway. I remember one Joey Galloway play. And it's
Did he even make it out of training camp?
He did, yeah. He made it a couple weeks into whatever season that was. I want to say 06. It was those dark years of...
Right, I was going to say, if he can't make that team, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it was, I just remember Joey Galloway. I think he ran the wrong route, and Brady just like tore into him the entire time they were walking off the field.
How many times is that going to happen with his new teammates? Oh!
Too soon.
We'll see. I know. I'm sorry.
Soon.
I can't help myself.
So
Can I give you a factoid real quick?
Yeah.
Because I was like, Columbus, Ohio, is that even like a high crime rate? Apparently, Columbus has one of the highest crime rates in America compared to all communities of all sizes.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you check Lawrence, Massachusetts, please? Thank you.
That check. It's I'm sure it's on the list. So, Mike, this is your brother in here, I guess. What you're saying?
I don't know.
Connection of sorts.
He seems like he's had a harder life than some. I will say
It saw it's lower than Columbus. Saw a 15% decline in 2017. It's getting better, Mike.
What's going on?
Yeah.
I'm really proud of it. I just want to thank everybody involved for cleaning up the community. I always knew that it was a beautiful place. And I'm just really happy to hear that, Greg. Thank you.
I'm personally
You're
not
welcome.
surprised it got better once Mike left.
Yeah, it was slowly, getting better. I think it was, 20 years ago? But, it's great to see that.
I was just blaming you for being shitty.
I know, but I've also helped out in the community, but I don't like to brag about that. So
I have too.
Lawrence?
Yeah, I purchased drugs from Lawrence as recently as 5 years ago.
All right, man.
Once Greg stopped purchasing drugs, boom.
Yeah, see, yeah, those numbers seem to correlate.
Dude, the Lawtown Brown.
Jesus. So yeah, back to our old friend Terry Glenn. So he walked on to Ohio State, and then in his junior year, all he did was set school records with 64 catches, 1,400 yards, and 17 touchdowns, which is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, especially back then.
Yeah, exactly. And his numbers were outrageous. His best game came against the University of Pittsburgh. 9 catches, 253 yards, which is a school record. I don't know if it still is. Can we fact check that, Greg? And his average was 28.1 yards per catch. 4 touchdowns. Oh, and a 2-point conversion. So he was hot shit coming out.
Who was throwing him the ball?
It didn't say, but I bet we could Google it. I don't think it matters at Ohio State. Have they ever had a real quarterback come out of Ohio State?
Yeah, not really.
I feel like they're all just
He said a real quarterback.
Yeah, so I guess no is the answer. So that was his college career. He was, he did eventually get his degree from Ohio State. I don't know what it didn't say, but after his junior year, he decided to declare for the draft, and he was drafted 7th overall by your Michael New England Patriots back in 1996.
Yo, I got a name for you.
All right, give it to me.
Ohio State quarterback Tom Tupa.
Which coincidentally,
84 to 87.
Yep, and I didn't say anything, but when we get to
Mike.
Tom Tupa, I know that we'll go over that nugget.
Also, Mike Tomczak.
All right.
Also on the Pats?
Kirk Herbstreit. He's an Ohio State guy.
Is he a quarterback?
Yeah.
Wait, are these literally the biggest names?
Yeah, because none of these guys played with Terry Glenn. Who was it? Who was their quarterback in the early 90s? Does it say?
What is the early 90s? 92 to 95?
Yeah.
Bobby Hoying.
Bobby Hoying. Yeah.
So that was probably who was throwing on the ball then.
Right,
Yeah.
Bobby.
Because he came out in 96, so.
Right. Yeah, no, he was good.
Yeah. So Glenn, coming out of school, drafted 7th overall by your New England Patriots, 96. By Robert Kraft, not by Bill Parcells, as we all know. Let's see. Apparently, Parcells was outspoken of his desire to draft a defensive player. And he was also outspoken about how he was overruled by team management, which we all remember. Something about, don't ask me to cook the dinner if I can't buy the groceries. Wasn't that the saying?
Yeah. Great line.
Yeah, it's one of the top Bill Parcells lines, I think. Wait, didn't we figure out what Bill Parcells' actual name was? Greg, didn't you have that?
Bill Parcells' actual name? It's not
Yeah.
Bill?
It's not William?
No. I remember this. That's what happens when you listen to our episodes after we release them.
Oh, yeah, it's Dwayne.
There it is,
Charles Parcells.
That's
The
right.
big
And
tuna.
And I'm pretty sure the reason he goes by Bill is because in school he was confused with another guy whose name was Bill, so he just started going by Bill because it was easier.
Yeah,
Insanity.
That's how nicknames get made, right?
Yeah. Oh, your nicknames are never ones you want to have because those don't stick. The ones you want to have don't stick.
Mm.
Right, Milo?
Yeah, I can take it or leave it.
Exactly. So yeah, and then so there was all that shit with Parcells and Terry Glenn. He obviously didn't like him. He made his displeasure known, referring to Glenn as she after Glenn pulled a hamstring 2 weeks in training camp, and that forced, well, quote unquote, forced him to miss the rest of training camp and the season opener against the Dolphins.
Question. Now, we've all heard of that part, but did Terry Glenn ever comment on Parcells' disdain for him?
He did. He wasn't too bothered by it, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I think the quote, I don't have the exact quote here, I don't think, but it was something along the lines of, I've been through a lot growing up, so that really didn't bother me.
That makes sense.
Bad worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. As soon as I read that, I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, that.
Do we know
water off my back too.
the player that he wanted instead of Glenn?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, who was like drafted like right after him?
I'm looking at the draft right now. Alex Molden, a cornerback, is the next defensive player. Regan Upshaw, the end. There's no one really of name here.
Who did the Patriots draft? Like what positions did they draft other than Terry Glenn that year? Because that would probably give you an idea of what Parcells was looking for.
Well, but that is a good
Lawyer Malloy.
Wait, oh, yeah.
Right.
But Greg makes a good point, though. If there's no other names, then it's not the worst pick in the world. I mean, I guess
especially 7 overall.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, yeah.
This was a stacked wide receiver draft, too, though.
Was it? Who else was in this?
Keyshawn Johnson, Marvin Harrison, Eric Moulds, Mushin Muhammad.
That was a stacked draft.
Yeah.
Who went one
Terrell
overall?
Owens.
Damn.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Joe Horn.
Who went one overall in this draft?
Keyshawn.
Oh, he did. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think Glenn held his own against all those wide receivers because in his rookie season, he recorded 90 catches for 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns. And at the time, those 90 receptions were the most ever in a single season by a rookie in NFL history. And it was actually, in Patriots history, it was second most ever behind Ben Coates. I think had 94 or 96. So that's all he did. Yeah. And that was his rookie year was the year the Patriots went to Super Bowl 31 against the Green Bay Packers.
Now, can I interject here again with,
you may.
Man, Parcells is kind of like a douche, though, then, huh? Because the guys rip it on Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
He basically helps the team go to the Super Bowl.
And setting records.
Yeah, and then he bails on the team with his disdain because Robert Kraft made him pick Terry Glenn in the first place.
Which turned out to be the right decision.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's spiteful.
Jeez.
A little bit, yeah. So then, so that was 96. That was his rookie year. Not much really happened until 99. In 98, he set the Patriots receiving record with 193 yards against the Steelers. So that's 2 years into his career. 99, he led the team again with receptions with 69. Nice. 1,100 yards and 4 touchdowns in 14 games. I think, injury troubles again. And then on October 3rd, he set the franchise records with 13 receptions for 214 yards against the Cleveland Browns.
Damn.
So I remember him being good. I don't remember him being this good.
Well, yeah. I believe I was a Terry Glenn proponent there back in the day, and you told me that he sucked. So I believe you even said that he didn't have the capability of catching 2 touchdowns in a game. I think that was your direct quote.
He has not caught 2 touchdowns. Well, he never caught 2 touchdowns in a game.
Yeah, but you said he didn't even have the ability to catch 2 touchdowns.
Now you're just putting words in my mouth.
That's a tough look, Andy.
Yeah, I know. What the hell?
Putting words in my mouth. I never said anything.
No, I heard. That's what I heard. I was like, no, I know he's never caught 2, but he could.
Yo, I heard it too.
You hear a lot of things.
Okay.
I heard it too.
Sure you did.
Thank you. See, all right. Hey, enough of that.
I mean, I'm on Team Andy. How do you have 213 yards and only 1 touchdown?
Okay, you guys.
Yo, fuck you, Steve.
I know. This is
So how about this, Steve? You ready for this one? You'll probably like this too. Terry Glenn is the Drew Bledsoe of wide receivers.
okay. See, and I've said this frequently. Both of them could be in the Hall of Fame, given a couple of things here or there that might have been different. So,
Given each other?
hey, could be.
Because, I mean, they had their chance.
Yeah,
They
and they did
win
pretty
Super Bowl.
well. Now give them a bunch more time, because obviously Terry Glenn hated Tom Brady. I mean, that was a given. He didn't even want to play with them. So
Is that what happened?
yeah. So that's what I'm told. So,
These are your sources, huh? It's somebody that had sex with both Terry Glenn and Tom Brady.
Yeah. Andrew Bledsoe.
yeah, I'm saying what I hear, guys. So it could
I'm
have
just
been
curious where these voices are coming from.
if Bledsoe didn't go down, we don't know what could have been.
It's true. I've seen that argument pop up lately now that Tom Brady is gone.
Also, this is another tidbit that people didn't talk about back then, but Terry Glenn used to stay at Drew Bledsoe's house, and they would build a relationship together.
What do you
Here
mean
we go.
stay?
Just like hang out,
Sleepovers.
buddies. Yeah, sleepovers.
Slumber parties, pillow fights,
So they supported each other. It was a beautiful thing.
They're
You know,
playing
and now when
Actually-
Brady does that with Antonio Brown, people are like, "Oh, it's so great," but nobody's talking about Bledsoe back then. Guy was a humanitarian for crying
So
out
the
loud.
sources I have said that when Terry Glenn and Drew Bledsoe were having their sleepovers, what they were actually doing is they were buying a case of Surge, the soda Surge,
Okay,
and they were going on AOL chat rooms at the time, pretending to be lesbians.
that is very specific.
playing NFL Blitz.
I don't know. Wow, that's great. Sounds familiar.
Huh? Imagine that.
ASL? Question mark.
That's right.
Man, those were interesting times.
Allegedly.
I learned a lot.
Allegedly, right?
Allegedly, yeah. I'm sure both Drew Bledsoe and Terry Glenn learned a lot. in those
Did they mention something
years.
about like cybering? Was that what it was called? Cybering? Just
This
Moving
isn't
on.
real, right?
Moving on.
You made that up, right?
Made what up?
The cyber chat thing.
I think it
Cyber chat
sounds
was a
pretty
thing?
real.
You,
Yeah.
you both made it all up, right? They didn't hang out together at Bledsoe's house. I just need to know.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
Wait,
yeah.
I don't want to hear allegedly. Just is there anything even alleging it?
No.
Or okay, all right.
I'm gonna have to like look back on that, but I'll let you know next time.
All right, thank you.
Is that football or not football?
Whoa, it's totally
Nicely
football.
Done. Oh,
Totally.
It's definitely not football. 100% not football. So 99 is also when Terry Glenn's off the field stuff started to kind of catch up to him. He was cited for speeding. Was 3 hours late for practice one time.
That's why he was speeding.
I mean, 3 hours late's a tough look. He was also later accused of inappropriately touching a woman outside a nightclub the previous night of his speeding ticket. And then after missing the game against the Buffalo Bills because of the flu, he was suspended for the season finale by head coach Pete Carroll for failing to show up for treatment, which is a harbinger of things to come, I think.
We're supposed to quarantine.
You would think, right? But I mean,
I'm surprised that Pete Carroll actually disciplined. So that says something.
Yeah, right?
that's true. Yeah, that's if Pete Carroll is laying down the law. You know you've fucked up. But it was also, I think, the last game of the season. So, and then 2000, more issues. He tested positive for marijuana and entered the NFL substance abuse program.
Such an abusive substance.
Right. He also,
Although, think about that. If you can function and catch balls and touchdowns and all this other stuff high, you're doing pretty good, man.
I mean,
I
just
got-
look at Josh Gordon.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm
Stuff that
saying.
he used to be doing while he was setting all those records.
Now,
Have you ever played sports high, Mike?
I probably not, because I don't know what that feels like.
All right.
How about you?
No.
Allegedly.
We'll talk to you later.
Ooh.
You think Terry Glenn got it from Lawtown?
It's a
I
very
don't
good
know.
chance,
Wasn't he-
right?
That's
wasn't
a
he-
possibility.
Wasn't he more into the Molly?
I think it was called ecstasy back then.
I think we'll get there.
Wait, here's a
Um,
question though. So now with the CBA, I think there's more lax like marijuana laws, and I'm sure that'll probably evolve over time. So I wonder like how many wide receivers that wouldn't have to contend with that would have been phenomenal, given that they weren't in the program.
well,
We'll never know. Like Randy Moss.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, Terry Glenn could have been the Hall of Fame.
Randy Moss was phenomenal anyway.
True.
So yeah, so he tested positive for marijuana, and I think that came back. I think we actually talked about it a little bit in 2001, if you remember, because he got all pissed off about how the page, like I guess that came out, the information that he tested positive and he was in the substance abuse program. It got leaked somehow, and so he tried to, I think, sue the league, and the Patriots like never really supported him was his thing. So that's kind of why he was sitting out at the beginning, and the whole I'm hurt, but I'm not getting paid, and so I'm not getting paid, so I'm hurt sort of thing.
I think it's more about money because if he, like he said, he's gone through worse. I'm pretty sure he doesn't give a crap if Bill Belichick stands by him or not.
Yeah, maybe. But speaking of money, in 2000, he signed a 6-year, $50 million contract extension with an $11.5 million signing bonus. So, yeah,
It's pretty hefty for back then.
right? So there was that plus the Drew Bledsoe 10-year, $100 million signing. You thought these two would be the cornerstone of your offense for the next however long.
And imagine what that would look like again.
Yeah, it would look like the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
How do you figure?
No,
How do you figure?
that's where they both ended up.
No, I don't buy it.
With Bill
Greg, can you-
Parcells.
Greg, can you check that?
Bill Parcells.
Yeah, I just checked it. They're right.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That was at the tail end, man. So
Maybe.
I don't know. They were different people back then. You know,
Perhaps.
they weren't as spry. I mean, Bledsoe was what? Almost, he was 36 or something by that point. Come on.
Yeah, I've never seen a 36-year-old quarterback perform at a high level. So you're onto something.
Yeah, well, it's the first time we've ever seen it, Andrew. So bite your tongue.
36-year-old?
Yeah.
Drew Brees is 39.
Nope. We don't believe it.
How old is Aaron
Warren
Rodgers?
Moon was like 40.
Nope. Sorry.
How old was Joe Montana? When he was
Oh,
playing?
he was pretty young.
Joe Montana was probably like 28 when he retired.
No, I think he was like 30. He was early 30s.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, but wait a minute. This current trend outside of like the Warren Moons to the Testaverdes, but like starting quarterbacks, that hasn't really happened until recently with the Rivers and Eli Mannings and all that kind of stuff. So there you go, Andy. Boom.
Well, you showed me.
Thank you.
But going back to what you were saying about Molly, Mike, in 2000,
Yeah.
I think we may have touched on this too. They were given, he was given permission with Ty Law and Troy Brown to stay in Buffalo after a game up there because they didn't want to fly in the bad weather because it's fucking Buffalo. But they were given permission to do that on the condition that the three were back in Foxborough the next day for a team meeting. The players were later seen in a strip club in Canada, and Ty Law was arrested for possession of ecstasy, and they were also late getting to the Monday meeting. So that was also in Troy Brown's book, if you want to read it. He was probably the only apologetic one, I would imagine, out of all three of those players.
You'd imagine.
Troy Brown was one of them?
Assuming.
Troy Brown was on that list, yeah. It was
He
Troy
was at
Brown,
the strip club?
Ty Law, and Terry Glenn.
Wow. That would have been an awesome night to be on.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Can you imagine?
It's always the quiet ones.
That's like us Brown brothers, really. Going out for a night.
Yeah.
I would probably be the Troy Brown, if we're being honest.
Yes, Greg's Ty Law, since
I
y'all
mean,
know how much-
obviously.
Because Greg Brown's the one getting arrested for possession of ecstasy at the Canadian border.
I guess I'll be the diva.
So that was 2000. Pretty entertaining. 2001, we've kind of talked about it this season. He was arrested for assaulting the mother of his son. So that's not great. And then was eventually, we've kind of talked about it through the season. Didn't play, hurt, maybe not hurt, maybe just being hurt because he's not getting paid and all that shit. Eventually gets traded after this season, spoiler alert, to the Green Bay Packers in exchange for a 4th-round pick, which turned into Jarvis Green, and a 2003 conditional pick, which turned into somebody called Bryant McNeil. Yeah, I didn't think you'd heard of him either.
Nope.
And as part of that deal, Glenn dropped a series of grievances against the Patriots, which I think were kind of building throughout the season that we've talked about a bit, and ones that Bill Belichick just kind of dismissed. So he didn't play much because he had some injuries, some knee injuries, in 2002. But then 2003 he was traded to Dallas Cowboys, like we talked about, in exchange for a 2004 6th-round draft choice.
Right. So he
Andy
did
Lee.
play in Dallas.
Imagine that.
How about them Cowboys?
Right.
He was reunited with his
Wait.
former head coach, Bill Parcells, Dwayne
What?
Charles.
No
and-
kidding.
Oh, it gets better. He started
Wait.
along.
You're. Can I
This isn't-
ask you this? How
It's not
come?
heading where you think it is.
All right, but how come he gets in trouble with the law? And I'm looking at like nowadays
Ends up
with
in
Tyreek.
Dallas.
Well, but like Tyreek Hill nowadays, like he's gotten into more trouble than that. I think some of the same stuff, but that was confirmed too when he was getting out of college. How come he gets a pass? Remember his
Malcolm got
kid
a
stuff
pass.
too? No, but he's like present day have gotten like a pretty good pass from the Chiefs, the NFL. What is
Oh,
it with
yeah.
that?
Well, I don't give him a pass. I hate that guy.
He runs a 4.240.
Yeah, that's why.
That's why. And he can catch a football.
He puts up mad points in fantasy.
Yeah, he does. But I can't believe that the
He
in
puts
this day
mad
and age.
asses in seats.
I guess because the Chiefs cut ties with one guy, they get a pass for the other guy.
Who do they cut ties with?
The
Kareem
running
Hunt. Yeah, Kareem Hunt, who is now playing for the Browns, and I think he just got a new deal.
He did.
Oh, really?
So be
Hmm.
fast and strong, and problem
Wow.
solved. So he was reunited. Terry Glenn reunited with his former head coach Bill Parcells. The other starting wide receiver for that Dallas Cowboys team. Anybody want to guess?
Joey Galloway.
Oh, Greg Brown nailed it in one.
I got it? Nice.
Yes. So playing with his old Ohio State teammate, Joey Galloway. Terry Glenn would lead the team with 52 catches, 750 yards, 5 touchdowns. Not too bad. He
And-
contributed to the team making the
Good year.
playoffs for the first time since '99.
Now, what did Parcells have to say about him after that? Called him shitty a bunch of times.
No,
He
I'm sure
said,
he
if I can't pick the groceries, I don't want cooking. And then he left them for the Eagles.
All right. So and then 2005, guess who else he was reunited with, Michael?
Um,
I'll give you a hint. It's a quarterback.
It's Drew Bledsoe.
what?
Yeah, it's Drew Bledsoe.
Oh,
And
shit.
get this. He had 2005 reunited with his boy Drew Bledsoe.
Mhm.
63 catches, 1,100 yards, which was his
Okay.
best since 1999,
Yep.
and 7 touchdowns.
Okay. And what did I say?
18.3 yard per catch
Wait.
average, which was first in the NFC.
Yeah, of course it was first. Wait a minute. How dare you skim over this and not apologize for putting me down about 10 minutes ago and in other episodes? I want an apology, man, because
For what?
if they stayed together that whole time in their prime, they would have been the Hall of Famers.
Hey, Greg, can we get a stat check on how many picks Drew Bledsoe threw that year?
Yeah.
That's fine. He was
2005. He was
2005.
old. Yeah. Or just
I just-
how many
dude.
picks did he throw since he left the Patriots? After he left the Patriots.
Look, it's a system too. You got to keep that in mind. If you same
I'll tell
system,
you what. He
same
did.
system.
He did
with
have
Terry
single
Glenn.
digits.
All right.
He threw 15 in
Okay.
2002, then 12, 16, 17.
Okay. Well, again, we don't know. Belichick. Look, I want an apology, Andy. This is bullshit. I don't accept this.
2003,
Yeah.
11 touchdowns, 12 interceptions.
Oh,
Right, but he's older, man. Come on. Parcells doesn't know how to run an offense.
Dude, 11 touchdowns in 16 games. That's kind of brutal.
Dude.
2005 with
You know
Terry
why?
Glenn.
You know why
23
that happened?
touchdowns,
Wait,
17
let's double
interceptions.
back. You know
That's
what was
not
going
bad.
on? Dude, he was feeling depressed that year. And I don't even want to go into it. You guys are just brushing it over. Like, at least give him some respect. For crying out loud.
Drew
That's a good
Bledsoe is depressed.
Yeah, he was feeling down that year. And I can't really go into it, but you guys should know about it as Patriots fans. Jesus.
Oh boy.
So, anyways, let's move on.
I love it when Mike makes up facts.
And I'm
It
not
just
making
makes
up
this whole
anything.
podcast so much.
All
more
right.
fun.
Well, take it as you will.
So yeah, he had a great year in 2005 on the field. Off the field, he had another issue. He was arrested for public intoxication and public urination in a Jack in the Box parking lot.
Who hasn't done that?
But that's
Yeah,
I mean,
come
it's
on.
tough to judge that one because
I
judging
have been
people for-
arrested for that. 2009.
oh,
this
he
real?
beat you. This was 2005.
Well, without the public urination, but yeah.
Really?
Intoxication, yes.
would
Oh,
you care?
well,
Would you?
It was a perfect storm. It was like Saturday night. We got home late from a away game. It was there was a Snoop Dogg concert on campus,
Oh, that's what.
and it was Game 7 of Bulls and Celtics when
Oh,
they were
shit.
live. That series was unbelievable. So it was a perfect storm.
Yeah,
And
the cop didn't let it go.
Right, and I don't hold myself accountable.
Do you even
Wow.
remember getting arrested, Greg?
No, but I was apparently like me and my roommate were like wrestling in the street.
Well, it only takes one. What do you think started?
Yeah, it was a
I've never-
wild ride in the morning. I tell you what.
Oh yeah. I feel like you've told me about the drive home to campus from the
Yeah.
police station next morning. What
Dude,
did
we
you
got
tell the
to-
police officer?
I don't remember.
So from what
But
you told me, you were in the back of the cruiser. You were off campus at the police station. He was driving you back to campus, and he was hammered down in the passing lane.
Oh
There
yeah,
was a guy in front of you that wouldn't pull over or something, so you banged on the divider and
With
said,
my head.
"Pull his ass over. I got plenty of room back here."
yeah, because he had one of those Chargers too, and he was bombing. Yeah,
Greg
Wow.
Brown, ladies and gentlemen.
What a bunch
got-
of misfits.
I got to do that. You know when they put you in the glass with the telephone thing.
Oh, you
yeah.
have to do that?
I got to do that. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
When my
Who did you
roommate,
talk to?
my roommate, he came to pick me up, and I like put my hand on it, and I was like, put your hand on the window.
Taking it seriously.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh.
We don't condone any of that.
So, I mean,
We don't
this is
condone
Greg
anything Greg
Brown,
does, really.
the only arrest in the Brown family. That's why he's Ty Law getting busted with the e-pills.
Oh,
Perfect.
That's true.
Nailed it, yeah. Greg Brown apparently is the black sheep of this family. Who knew?
Oh, we all knew.
Fair enough.
Should have had a clue when that cop brought him home. Had a little talk with him and mom on the dining room table.
What?
We'll cut this part.
Oh. Oh, was that for when you mounted the Chewy on the snowbank?
No comment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had a nice little chat about the decisions Greg's making in life.
Yeah, I remember having to fucking deal with that decision by digging the goddamn van off of a snowbank.
Hmm.
All right, so,
Yeah,
so
but you've learned a
Terry
lot.
Glenn.
You've learned a lot since then, though, right?
Speaking
right?
Speaking of bad decisions, there wasn't much that happened after 2005 on the field. He didn't play much after that. 2009, he was arrested again for public intoxication and possession of marijuana. 2010, he was arrested for auto theft of a rental car. I don't know how that works.
Is that
Just
what
don't
happens if you
return it.
don't return it?
Yeah,
I've always thought
I-
that. Like,
I guess. I thought they just charge you the price of the car like they do with library books. But then again, I'm the Troy Brown in this situation, so I have no idea.
see, I heard a stand-up comedian say that one time he was late for a flight and he just like drove up to the terminal and just left it there and called the place and was like, "Yo, if you want your car, it's at Terminal C."
That seems
And I
That
was
actually
like,
seems
you know what?
pretty smart. I was
yeah.
going to give you shit for that, but that's actually pretty clever.
Yeah, he said he
not
like
bad.
didn't get in trouble for it, so I was like, I should try that.
Keys are in it or what?
Yeah, yes. I mean, it was a stand-up bit, so he could be just making it up.
That's true, yeah. So and then sadly, 2017, Terry Glenn died at the age of 43 following a one-vehicle rollover traffic accident in 2017 in Irving, Texas, near Dallas, which left his fiancée slightly injured, so she was in the car. Belichick, though, when finding out about it, said, I think he was deep down inside a good person with good intentions and a good heart. Obviously, it's very unfortunate passing. I mean, it's just sad. It's a sad day. It's sad news. So, kind of rough. He turns out there was, as you can probably imagine, both alcohol and marijuana in his blood when that happened. So, didn't really learn his lessons of the rest of the times he was arrested for all that shit.
Did he have kids? Did you say?
Well, it's funny you bring that up. I was just about to get that. He has 7 children.
Whoa.
Yeah.
5 women.
Not particularly happy either. Because when was this? Yeah, December 3rd, 2019. Terry Glenn Jr., his son, died of an apparent accidental overdose at the age of 22.
Why did you think this is a good idea to explore?
Because we needed to talk about Terry Glenn because he's such a big part of this, and
Jeez.
I know we've given a lot of crap, so I kind of want to just kind of shed a human light on him. I know we try to be funny a lot of times, but like some of this shit, like he went through some rough stuff. So,
did you find in any of all the research that there was like a consistent person trying to help him out throughout all this?
His girlfriend, it seemed like, was his person for that. What is she? She was a Dallas County law enforcement officer, I think. And they started several like nonprofits together that would target like domestic violence awareness and things, which I think probably stemmed from the stuff that he had going on back in like 2001 when he was arrested for assaulting.
Or his mom getting killed. I mean, that's DV right there.
I mean, that too, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of it kind of followed him throughout all this stuff.
Well, and that's the thing too. I mean, it's such a horrible start to life, you know. So, I don't know. It's a tough thing to shake, especially with all the tragedy. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I wonder if he tried to get help. I don't know what he tried to do, but that's extremely unfortunate.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot about him talking about his personal life. He was pretty buttoned up about that. He just like was not a guy who would open up. He would try once in a while, but it didn't really.
I mean, Andy and I kind of went over a little bit of the mental health aspect of, you know, sports and then and now. And I, you know, so I won't go into it too much unless you guys, you know, want to share anything or chime in. But I will say that hopefully things are a little bit better for players to reach out without having the stigma or issues that stem from that, and just address some of the stuff. Because also on top of like dealing with a tragic past, and you know, you have all this money and opportunity that you might not have had before. I got to imagine that it's tough to navigate alone, never mind with you know, issues stemming from childhood and whatnot.
Yep.
So, can you imagine if a coach called one of his players "she" in this day and age?
Yeah, that's a rough one. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully, you know, things are a little bit better for players to reach out and get the help that they need.
Yeah, I mean, the whole mental health thing, it's definitely better these days, right?
I'd hope so. I mean, I don't know if we're all the way there, but definitely better than it was like 15 years ago.
I think research about it too. Even things like CTE, like just understanding what it is and concussions and how they affect people.
Well, the guy from the Cavs just came out and said he had anxiety.
Yeah.
And like he got a pretty good reception.
Kevin Love.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And I just gotta think all that celebrity and you're going through shit. Like, I don't know. I know that people, I mean, it's easy to say like these guys make millions of dollars and whatever, and we all have problems in our own way, but I can't imagine like having a camera in my face following me around, having all the money in the world to do whatever I want and then restrain myself when,
Right.
you know, things don't feel that great. It's tough.
I think it comes with its own unique set of problems for sure.
Yeah.
And like you feel like no one understands it either, right? Everyone's like, "Oh, you're super rich. Why are you upset?"
Right.
True.
Exactly.
And then, I mean, I don't know how comfortable people are with reaching out to teammates and stuff too, because there's that like bravado stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that locker room mentality of, especially with football too, of all the sports. So that'll do it for this deep dive bye-week episode. Next week, we are going to be traveling to Carolina to visit the Panthers, the not very good Panthers. So this, I think, will have a lot of garbage time in it. But we will find out next week on the Patriots Dynasty podcast. See you then.